Let's go. Am I on? Am I not? I should be on. I should be live already.
Yeah, I can see both of us.
Are we live on YouTube already? Did you see?
I'm live on YouTube, yeah.
Oh yes, we are. So we're live, I think.
Okay, I better use multiple devices.
Yeah, so let me just tweak our view. On this thing.
Oh yes, we are.
Okay.
We're live. Very lucky though. I can use multiple devices.
It is.
Yeah, so let me just tweak our view.
Okay, I need to disable the audio.
Oh yes, we are. We're live. Very lucky though. I can use multiple devices. It is. Yeah, so let me just tweak our view.
Okay, bro. I think on your end, the your audio from your live stream, you turn it to mute because I'm receiving the feedback on my end.
Okay.
Okay, mic test 1 2 3 3 2 1 testing for feedback. So oh, it's good. Okay, and on your end, the stream looks okay. The video is okay.
The video is streaming, but slow.
Quite slow. Okay, yeah, just make do with it, lah. Give me a minute. How do I tweak the view between you and me so that your face is not so big? Spotlight for everyone. No, that's not it. Is it fit to frame? No, that's not it either. Is it fill frame? No. So give me that. I don't imagine anybody would be joining this live stream anyway. So it's just for our own testing. Okay, it's fine. Let's stay with this. Let's start with the live stream. So yeah, to anybody who's watching this live stream, or even if you're watching this recording over here, hello, welcome to the Lionheart Academy channel. Thank you for joining us for this live stream that is going to be full of technical glitches as we figure out alien technology called live streaming. This is Rush from Lionheart Academy again, and joining with me today, I'm fortunate enough to once again get Hendra. Hendra, hello.
Hello.
How have you been doing, Hendra? You look as if you haven't slept for the last month.
Yeah, I've been missing out a couple of my personal training due to parenting duties.
Well, parenting duties. There might come a time where I will know what you mean, but at this point in time, not really. Yeah. So anyway, Hendra, thanks for joining us today. So the intention of the live stream is to basically ride on the fever that happened through the SEA Games this year, which happened in Vietnam, as a lot of us know. So one of the most popular events in SEA Games is an event called Karate Do, right? So the SEA Games was concluded last week, I think, but we still want to ride on the fever and still talk about the Karate Do event. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do that is because, as us karate practitioners, we know that there is a whole diverse range of practices when it comes to karate, right? So some people do it as recreation, some people do it as a competitive sport. And if we talk about competitive sport, there is a lot of different formats in terms of tournaments, right? And one of the formats is popularly known as sports karate, or otherwise we also know it as WKF karate, or the World Karate Federation competition format for karate, right?
Right.
Yeah. So me being a karate practitioner that has never stepped foot on a sports karate mat, this is the reason why I asked Hendra to join us today, because he will definitely have a lot more experience than me when it comes to this. So I'm banking on his experience when it comes to sports karate. So you know where I'm coming at, Hendra?
Totally different format from yours.
Yeah, way different. And with that, I think what better way to begin the live stream by watching some clips from the previous SEA Games, right? So let me just pull out the video of the female individual kumite minus 55 gold medal bout between Indonesia and Thailand. So I'm going to be sharing the YouTube window right now. Let me know if you're able to see it on the live stream. Cannot see. So this is weird. So okay, so it should be loading up already right now, right? Okay. So we're just gonna watch the competition format based on WKF rules for female individual kumite between Indonesia and Thailand, and then we're gonna basically react to what we feel about the whole match. Okay, so let's begin. So I'm still gonna turn on the audio, although I will turn the volume down so that you can still hear us. What was the last sports karate competition that you have taken part in, Hendra?
As a competitor or as a judge?
As a competitor.
As a competitor. It was a long time ago, I think 2010.
Wow. In Singapore or abroad?
Singapore.
Okay. Do you typically compete in kumite or kata, or a bit of both?
Both. I take part of both.
And as a judge, when was your last tournament?
2 years ago, before COVID.
It's quite recent. 2 years ago.
Yeah. But they have changed the rules for kata.
They changed the rules for kumite as well?
As well, yes.
Okay.
But the kata one is more recent. I think the space is between 1 year.
I see.
Change first and follow.
I see. Okay. And the rules change, is it more having to do with the criteria you need to score, or it's with the scoring system and stuff like that?
It's actually the scoring system for kata.
So
instead of having 4 judges and 1 referee, now you have 6 judges armed with an iPad each.
Oh yeah, the iPad.
So it's an electronic scoring.
Okay. So the kumite bout is underway. It's between Indonesia and Thailand. This is minus 55 kg. How do you read it? It's under 55 kg, right? It's not minus 55 kg, right?
Either way works really.
Okay.
Both are understandable.
So I realized that for individual kumite, right? I mean, of course, a bit of background. When it comes to kumite, there is both the team event and the individual events, right?
Right.
For the individual event, I realized they tend to label the weight class, but not really for the team's event. So does it mean that for team's event, it's a mixed weight classes?
Yeah, actually the team event is a free for all. So how it works is in a team, each team there are 5 members. So before the bout begins, you have to decide on who goes first, who goes second, third, and fourth, and fifth.
I see.
So the opponent that you meet is a pure random chance.
So it's like a free weight class lah.
Almost like a free weight class.
Okay. I see.
And team is really very exciting because the momentum builds up.
Yeah. And it's typically a longer event, right, compared to the individual one.
But if let's say there's 3 consecutive wins in a row, then the team will automatically declare the winner, although the bout hasn't ended yet.
I see. So as we are watching this bout right now, probably run through with us what is the scoring criteria. So and basically, what are the competitors looking at in order to score a point?
So as a judge, we will be looking out for the speed, right? How rigorous you are in applying the technique. So any soft and slow technique will definitely not score a point. And you must have the intention to score or to strike the opponent.
Okay.
Right. The 3 judging points, the new one, is 1 point, 2 point, and 3 point. Although in the past we call it ippon, nippon, and sanpon. So it's literally transferred to 1, 2, 3 points. Right now they change it. The name is still the same as the old one, although the meaning underlying is different.
Okay.
Right now, 1 point is awarded. Yuko is awarded 1 point. Yuko means it's effective, an effective technique. Right. Then second one, wazare. Wazare is 2 points. So wazare means there is a presence of technique.
Okay.
And the third one, ippon. Ippon means literally translated as 1 point, but in competition it's actually 3 points.
Sorry, so ippon is 3 points, wazari is 2 points, and yuko is 1 point.
Yuko is 1 point, yeah. So as a Japanese, a person who understands Japanese, you might find it very funny.
Yeah.
Because it literally means 1 point.
Yeah, you're right. Ippon, yeah.
But that's the new rule.
Yeah, ippon means 1 point. That's right. Yeah, okay. So, for every technique you execute, you can either score 1, 2, or 3 points, as you mentioned. So you also mentioned that in terms of striking, right, throwing a kick or a punch, there needs to be certain criteria before the judge would award you the point. So it's unlike what I'm familiar with modern fencing, where there is like a conductive material between the weapon and the body. It doesn't exist in karate. Yeah. So like what warrants an effective point in your own words?
I think the easiest one to see is a yuko, where it is a punch to the face. That one is very clear cut visually, and as long as it's a clear punch without any attempt of the opponent blocking it, it's any part of the body.
I see.
It will be considered yuko. So a punch to the body, a punch to the face will be yuko.
Okay.
Right. Although to the body you can strike a little bit harder, to the face, it's just a touch of the glove. That's the maximum acceptable. You're not supposed to penetrate until you feel the contact on your knuckles.
I see. Okay.
So that is sports karate, different from the old rules of what they call traditional karate, where a full contact hit is still considered a point. So now they are trying to go for safety and sportsmanship technique instead of physical contact.
I see. Okay. So the bout has concluded. What's the final score? As you can see, so it's 2-0 in favor of Indonesia, right? So, one of my observations is this: sometimes you see that the opponents have a punch, like in front of the face, for example, but the score was not given. What tends to be the reason for that?
It might not be clean enough. So there's another criteria for scoring, which laymen might find it weird, right? It is the concept of pulling back. We call it hikite.
Okay.
Right? Hiki means to withdraw, te means the withdrawal of the hand. So this technique in competitive karate constitutes a huge part of the scoring. So if you punch and you leave your hand hanging out there, you definitely not get a score.
I see.
Right. So the idea behind this is the concept of iken hisatsu, one punch to kill.
Okay.
So you're sure that this punch will knock the person out, and you keep your feet on your hip just to indicate that okay, my attack is done and I knock the person out.
I see. So basically, you need to punch and draw back your fist for it to be considered like an effective punch.
An effective score.
An effective score. Okay.
Although in the recent years, as a sport, there are rules, right? To every game, there are rules.
Yeah.
The sports karate athletes try to make full use of the rules by making the pullback faster and stronger than the punch itself.
Okay.
Right. So visually, it looks very impressive. It's a flash of white because of the gi. So you'll see that some punches looks pretty weak, but the pullback is really, really strong. It's often exaggerated by a body movement.
Can you score while moving backwards? For example, as you're retreating and then you throw a punch?
No, that's a good question.
Yeah.
No, because it does not constitute the second criteria. It's not an effective technique. Because if you apply in a real life scenario, unlikely if you step back and you punch a person, you knock the person out because your body weight is moving back.
I see. So it takes into the assumption that if you're moving backwards and you hit, it's not
unless there's only one scenario that you can score. If you step back and then you firmly plant your back foot on the ground while executing the punch.
I see. Okay. So there's really a lot of visual cues that the judges look out for when it comes
a lot. Okay. So all these rules are put in place with keeping in mind those basics and concept of karate for speed and power generation.
I see. All right. So maybe let me ask also, what are the different ways that you can score in a kumite bout? So kumite, loosely translated for those who are not sure what kumite means. So it loosely translated as sparring. So basically, you have two exponents who are going to be scoring against each other. So basically, it's a sparring bout, but it's a competitive sparring bout. In karate terms, we call it as kumite. So again, what are the different ways you can score in a kumite bout?
So for those who know karate a little bit, we have a lot of weapons in karate. Our elbow, our arm, for arm, shoulder, your fingers, your knees. But for sports karate in particular, you can only score with the fist or the foot.
Okay.
Right. So no elbowing, no kneeing, and the only thing you can score without striking is a throw or a swing.
All right. So basically, you can only hit with the padded part of your limbs. Actually,
Yes.
That's not accurate.
Yes.
Yeah, the blue or red part of your limbs. So which is the fist.
The padded parts. Yes, correct. Okay. So the extreme end of the padded parts.
The extreme end of the padded parts.
Because if you see, if you put the pants of a karate competitor, you still see a shin guard.
Yeah.
Right?
And you can't score with your shin, right?
For contact. It's the foot. Instead of the foot.
I see. And besides the gloves and shin pads with the foot pad, what other protective equipment do players typically wear?
Body protector as well.
Okay.
And the body protector for male and females are of course different because of different body anatomy.
Yeah.
Mouth guards are important as well to prevent cuts from your teeth. And for male competitors, groin guards are optional.
For male competitors?
Yeah, groin guards are optional. For female-wise, are groin guards available, but so far it's rare. It is very rare for females to wear groin guards.
I see. So with the exception of the groin protectors, everything else is compulsory to wear.
Compulsory, yes.
I see. Okay. And maybe on the final point, as we mentioned before, the individual events, right? You have the different weight classes. So based on your experience being a competitor as well as being an audience and a judge, how do the different weight classes differ in terms of spectator value?
Spectator value.
Yeah. Like, do you tend to see like different tendencies when you watch different weight classes?
For Kumite, right?
Yeah.
So for Kumite, what I realized is those below 60 kilogram, right, it will be often more exciting to watch as a spectator because the action will be very fast paced.
Below 60.
Yes, and it tends to have a lot of catching up in score. That's what makes it very exciting.
I see. Okay.
They will play catching up and see the computers darting around in the map. And so that's the difference between sports karate and other forms of karate, because a lot of sports science are applied here. Right? A lot of emphasis are on speed and agility. So sometimes you can give it a few steps bigger, taller competitors can actually cover the whole map, which is 8 meter, 10 meter almost.
Yeah. It is a very fast sport that
very fast paced.
Yeah, that doesn't require full contact. So speed is of the essence, and the proper form is important also, because to hit the other person without the existence of the proper form won't give you the point, right? Like what we mentioned.
Right. So that's the idea between sports karate as well. It's about control. You should be able to strike with such power and speed and stop it and pull back without hurting the person.
Okay.
So the idea is if you can control, if you let go of the control, easy for you. It's technically possible for you to bring the person down.
I see.
Right. And regarding the scoring as well, only head we as judges and referee are particularly very protective about. But for body, you can throw a full force punch or a full force kick and we'll still give it a score.
Oh, so body is
body is okay.
Full contact is okay. It's only to the head that is. Actually, to be clear, to the head, is it semi-contact or no contact at
all? Right now, for kids, no contact at all. For the young one below 16, right? But for adult, certain amount of contact is allowed.
Okay.
So although, speaking for experience as a competitor right now, I do experience fighters who actually make use of this rule and bend it around to their advantage by pretending injury. That's what we have saw in the recent Olympics finals.
Yeah.
So that is a way of some competitors pretending the rule.
Yeah, that's a good reminder. Like what happened with the Olympics, for those of you who are watching, who, if you're not sure, is that it's a gold medal match, was it? Where the gold medal winner was the one who got knocked out, unconscious because of a kick that went a little bit too hard.
It was perfectly timed.
I see.
As my experience in karate, I would say it's a perfect kick.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, things happen not in the favor of the person who scored.
Yeah. So that's the reality of sports. There's rules and regulations, so people tend to play the rules to its limits, right? Okay. And I've got to ask, what is the duration for each bout?
For males, 3 minutes. Although in reality might be longer because of the pauses, injury and stuff like that. So once the referee shot Yame at the time, we pause.
So male is 3 minutes and female is
2.5.
2.5 minutes. Okay. And the team events are...
It's the same, but it's longer because multiplied by 5.
Okay. How many people in the team event?
5.
Okay.
Each team 5 people.
So it's basically 5 times 3 minutes if it's a male bout.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that's a long time.
But recently we have seen some interesting forms of team fight where it's a mix of male and female, although you're still fighting against each other of the same gender.
Okay. So the mixed gender one, is it recognized in like major games?
No, right. It's just in a smaller scale competition.
So it's still in a like experimental stages, we say. Yeah. But actually, that's pretty exciting. Like a lot of sports have introduced the mixed gender bouts, like from I don't know whether it's happening in soccer. I don't think so. You definitely see it in tennis. You definitely see it in volleyball, I think. Yeah, so
yes,
interesting for karate to introduce that as well in the future. So yeah, that was about kumite, and let's move on to kata. So kata, as I understand, is the other category that you can participate in as a competitor when it comes to sports karate, right? So kata, as far as I understand, let me reduce the volume. So kata, as I understand, it's basically showcase of karate forms. Is that right?
yeah.
So playing right now, we have. I hope you can see. So playing right now, we have the male kata gold medal match between Indonesia and Thailand.
It is a team kata.
It is a team kata event, right? Yeah. So it is a team kata event for male gold medal between Indonesia and Thailand. And of course, like the kumite bout, there is an individual category as well. In this case, it's a team category. So how does the individual kata category differ from the team event?
It's exactly the same as in each individual or each team. You have to choose one kata to perform against the other opponent or team. But the difference is for team kata. Personally, I find it's more difficult because you have to synchronize the movement with each other without any cues. So you really have to practice to a high level to be able to perform at the same timing.
Okay.
Executing each technique, and at the end of the kata performance, you are required to showcase how you use the kata against an opponent.
So during the kata performance, synchronization is a scoring factor. Like you have to perform it in synchrony with your teammates.
Yes, the accuracy of the kata as well, the execution in terms of speed, power, agility.
I see. Okay.
So that for scoring kata, there are two main categories. One is technical, how accurate your kata is, how correct it is. And second is athletic. So that's where power, speed, and agility comes in.
Okay. So when you are talking about accuracy of kata, right? It means that there is a list of kata that is approved for competition. And when you have selected that kata, there is a fixed way of doing it. That means you cannot decide on your own variation of the kata. Is that right?
No, you cannot, yes. So, karate, all forms of karate, be it full contact or traditional, we have fixed set of kata, right, which is a predetermined set of movements handed down by our grandmasters or the founders.
Yeah.
So it is karate's tradition not to modify anything. So that which is why I mentioned there's an accuracy of following the steps. But in recent years, we can see that certain competitors actually make certain adjustments to their movements, like micro movements, which is still acceptable in terms of competition karate.
So there's a threshold for micro variation.
The steps cannot be altered as a turning left, turning right, or is that a kick, or is that a punch? We cannot change all this. But in recent years, we can see that, for example, a certain jump and turn to avoid incoming attack has been modified into a jump, turn, and kick before landing.
I see. Okay. Right. So, as we are watching the match right now, we are moving into something new. So, it appears that the competitors are showing some kind of application of the kata that they have performed, right? So, this part of the kata performance is called a bunkai, if I understand. Okay.
So a bit on the bunkai as well. Originally, they are supposed to showcase techniques from the kata that I perform.
Okay.
And so you extract certain parts and show the audience and the judges how are you going to use those techniques against the attacker. But recently we have seen, not so recent, I mean more than a decade already, we have seen competitors interpreting the movement in a very creative manner.
Okay. So this is the part of the performance that is a bit more creative. There is no fixed way to do it. I see.
Alright. So it also brings a level of excitement because it's so creative, and sometimes when you watch it as a seasoned practitioner of karate, hey, I've never seen it that way before.
I see. Okay.
Right? But yes, although there are other application which is really, I would say, out of context. There's no way in real application you can do that.
All right. Okay. For those of you who are watching, thank you for joining us today. We really didn't expect anybody to join, or if you are here, we don't expect to have a lot of people to join. It is basically our first live stream. We're just testing out the system, or as I would call it, alien technology. So it's really first time that we are doing a live stream. So come and say hello so that we know you are here. Really appreciate your time. Take the opportunity also to let us know which club you're from, what do you practice, or if you're not a practitioner, do you practice any other martial arts and stuff like that. We are really happy to have you here today, to know that you're watching and enjoying karate with us also. We are all about enjoying karate regardless where you are. So welcome to the live stream. And yep, this is the end of the performance from the Indonesian team, I think. So one of the things that I wanted to ask is that we say that in performance of the kata, right, it has to be accurate according to how it is agreed that the kata is supposed to be performed. But karate, there's a lot of different styles, and I know there is a difference between the same kata between different styles. For example, Shotokan might do one kata like that, Shitoryu might do the same kata in a different variation. So how do they reconcile these differences?
Because for Shotokan kata, Shitoryu kata, okay, for those who are not aware, Shitoryu has the widest range of kata in world of karate, right? Because it takes into account the south and the north style of karate in Okinawa. Right? So katas in Goju-ryu will be found in Shitoryu as well, and what you see in Shotokan will be found in Shitoryu as well. But the other way may not be true. Right? So the name of the kata will be the same, but certain differences still exist. Right? In terms of maybe the way the block is executed, the way the punch is executed, or even the tension of the stance, those are not visible from the outside. The breathing will be different.
I see. So in terms of competition-wise, when you go for tournaments, it is acceptable to perform like a Shitoryu version of a kata and a Shotokan version of the same kata?
Yeah, right. Although, let's say you're not from a dojo that practice Shotokan, or let's say you're from Shitoryu, you don't practice Goju-ryu, or let me give a better example. If you're from Shotokan, then there's certain kata from Goju-ryu or Shitoryu which is not in your syllabus, but somehow you know it, you can perform that. As long as the kata is within the approved list, you can perform it.
I see.
Right, but recently, I don't know about Olympic level. I'm sure Olympic level they would have a professional coach teaching them, but we have seen more and more youth learning from YouTube of learning the style of kata and karate, which is not taught by their masters themselves.
Yeah.
And they run on competition with those kata which they learn on YouTube.
I see.
Which on one end is quite impressive and amazing because this has never happened before, right? In the history of karate, you can learn something that is on YouTube. You cannot meet the masters. How wonderful it is! That is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but without a master guiding, I think the understanding might not be that deep or even misunderstood.
Yeah, I've always heard about old instructors or masters to say that during my time you learn one kata for like 5 years,
like that, right? In
10
the army,
years.
the martial arts, during my time, these 3 words.
The famous line, during my time, I eat more
time.
salt than you. What do you know? Yeah. So yeah, they used to say that back in the day, they only perform like one or two kata at most in their whole time of like 5 years or 8 years training. And only after
You're
that,
right.
they graduate to another kata. So the kata is like a sign of graduation apart from your belt. It used to happen back then. But nowadays, like what you mentioned, on YouTube, everything is over there. People can learn whatever kata they want. So it's like really different.
Right. As long as you have some basics of karate and accumulate a certain level of experience, basically you can just pick up the kata and memorize it.
I see. So I realized one thing also, in comparison to the Kumite event, right? These guys, for one, they are not wearing protective gear.
No.
And I also see that their uniforms look a lot more handsome. So,
Yes.
like, is there a difference in the uniforms that they wear?
Yes, the grade is different. So I don't know when they start. They started to have kumite gi and kata gi. Yeah. So okay. So cliche, right? Back in my time.
Yeah.
I went to competition with just one gi.
I see.
So it doesn't matter whether kumite or kata. I'll just use the same gi, right? The difference is kumite gi is I would say is more technologically advanced in the design. You'll employ higher tech material, which is light, durable, and repeatable.
I see.
Due to the fast-paced nature of kumite. But for kata, right, because it is form, so it has to make you look very good when you settle into the stance. To look big, stable, and strong. So normally katagi will be thicker, heavier, and also wider.
Right.
Not so.
And is there a reason why kata competitors tend to like heavier and wider dogis?
You're right. Yes. It also feels good because it gives a lot more snap to your techniques in terms of the sound.
Okay. So it's the sound, it's the visual effect. So basically, it makes you look more imposing. Looks more.
It is. So it's just like those of us who start our army uniform.
Yeah.
Really.
I see. So yeah, that's an interesting thing to note. If you're getting on board to sports karate, depending on which category you take part in, the set of equipment and even the uniform can be pretty different to fit the different requirements. But having said that,
price different as well. The katagi can be very expensive.
Or katagis are a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
I see.
Because the material is thicker.
I see. Okay. But having said that, is it allowed for you to just wear any uniform regardless of whether you take part in kumite and kata?
They won't penalize you for that.
Okay. So yeah,
although you can wear katagi into kumite competition, no problem. Although if you wear kumite gi into a kata competition, you might be at a disadvantage. Because visually it's not as appealing.
But my argument is that if you can make a kumite gi snap like a kata gi, it says something about your technique.
Your technique is on point.
Yeah, it's my challenge to you.
There are some karateka who still snap the techniques even though they are not wearing karate uniform.
Okay.
Those are real techniques.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So this is the conclusion of the male team kata gold medal, Indonesia versus Thailand. So once again, if you just join us on the live stream, hello, welcome, happy to see you because we don't expect you to be here. And if you're still here, we're really grateful that you're here. So Hendra, just help me do a check on our live stream link. Is it working properly? Like,
it is. Okay? Now the Indonesian team has won and just putting the flag over the shoulder.
Awesome. So yeah, for those who are watching, come and say hi. Let us know who you are, or if you don't want to let us know who you are, that's fine also. Just come and say hi. Let us know which karate style you practice. If you want to promote your club over here, by all means, do that. We're happy to give a mention to you because we're all about creating awareness of the enjoyment of karate, regardless of what style, what organization you come from. We are happy that you're here today. So yeah, that concludes the male team kata category. So let me just close all of the windows and just go on to the conversation proper, right? So
Right.
yeah, so we have just watched the two events for sports karate between lost my train of thoughts. Two events of sports karate. One is kata and one is kumite. And I must say, as an audience, it's quite electrifying to watch. Like it's dynamic, it's fast. Uh, you could see the audience being riled up and stuff like that. Unlike some combat sports where sometimes in between the bouts there is like a lag time because some people are grabbing each other and they cannot move, or they are stuck in a corner of a ring trying to figure their way out. Sports karate matches is very dynamic. It's like always moving like that. So I would say, yeah, that's one of the plus points in terms of watching sports karate matches, right? Yeah, so this is in contrast with the other tournament karate styles that I know of. So besides semi-contact karate, as what we have just watched just now, there is also full contact karate, which we won't talk about today. Full contact karate is also an exciting match, so probably we'll talk about it next time. Or rather, for those of you who are watching, if you'd like us to do another live stream talking about full contact karate, pull out some videos, do a reaction on it, just let us know. We'll schedule another one. And you can join us on the live stream then also. So, but as of now, we are focusing a lot more on sports karate, right? So, having watched the SEA Games match on sports karate, let's come a little bit closer to home in Singapore. So, I know that in Singapore we have a lot of karate clubs out there, and given the different karate clubs, there are a lot of different karate styles amongst the karate clubs, right? So if I'm new to karate, how do I go about identifying whether this club does sports karate or they don't do competition at all, or they do some other form of competition format?
I think it's actually pretty easy to find out. Generally, if you're looking at the style, right?
Yeah.
May be wrong, but this is to my knowledge from my experience. As long as you're not doing a full contact karate, as in Kyokushin, Ashihara, Budokan, or other styles, most of the other karate would have some members who engage in sports karate.
I see.
So, for example, Shotokan, Shitoryu, Goju-ryu, or Do-ryu,
yeah,
they would have sports karate section so far.
So chances are, if you are enrolled in a so-called traditional traditional karate club, there is a tendency that the participants will be involved in sports karate, right?
Some of them would be involved.
Or some of them, okay.
Because right now we recognize there are two paths. One, you can go to sports karate, or you stick to the traditional practice, because what you practice is traditional karate by right should be applicable in sports karate, but the other way around is not true.
Okay, so that is an interesting point. When you say that by right your traditional karate practice should be able to be applicable in sports karate, but that isn't the case. What do you mean by that? So is there like some restrictions that they can't that is holding them back?
Because like we mentioned earlier, right, sports comes with all rules and limitations.
Yeah.
So in traditional karate itself is self-defense. So by the nature of self-defense, there's no limit to what you can do.
Yeah.
Just preservation of your life. And that includes attack to the groin, attack to the knee, the joints, and your eyes, and those vital areas. So all these are definitely illegal in sports karate.
I see.
So right, fingers, elbows, knees are not allowed. Or even overhead throw are not allowed in sports karate.
Okay. And one of my observations in the sports karate bouts that we took a look just now is that when it comes to punches, there seems to be only straight punches, while in sports karate, while in traditional karate, when you do kata, there's a whole variety of punches out there. Like a hook punch or like a spear hand and stuff like that. Is there a reason why we don't see that variety of punches in a sports karate bout?
Sports karate aim to be clean techniques. So you have different hook punches, especially maybe a shovel hook or uppercut, right? It's kind of hard to judge. Unless you're talking about, I'm not experienced in full contact karate, but one thing I like was full contact karate competition is it's very clear cut if your attacks are effective or not.
Yeah.
The person will go down, right? So there's no argument whether I need to do a video review, which is common these days in sports karate, whether the punch connected. If it's effective, opponent goes down. Simple as that. And that's the score, if I'm not wrong.
Mm. You mentioned this interesting word called video review.
Yeah.
Tell me what's that about. What is video review?
It just emerged recent years to get rid of the arguments that referee and team managers might have against the judgment of the referee and judge. So some techniques that your own team deemed, okay, my player, I personally hate this word called player, but they are using this for sports karate nowadays.
Yeah.
Did a technique, and to us, it's a perfect score. Why did you not award that, or why did you even award your other opponent for that? So to solve all these long years of arguments, they come up with a video review. So you can pay a certain fee, right, for them to replay that scene.
Fee as in money?
Money, yes.
Wow.
And so use it at your own expense.
I see. Is there a limit to how many video reviews you can request for in a match?
Yes, there is. I don't know if they have updated this. On top of my head, I can remember it was 2 or 3.
2
I got to check again.
I see. Okay. Yeah, we can all check that in the WKF website probably. But yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that that there is a lot more restrictions in terms of techniques when it comes to sports karate because there is a need to make the techniques to appear clean so that it can be a lot more easily judged.
Easier to judge.
Yeah. In my opinion.
And also safety. Right.
Safety aspect.
Because from my point of view, what I see the development from karate getting into a competitive sport from day one until now, it seems that everything was geared towards the Olympics.
Geared towards what? Sorry.
Rules, Olympics. Taking part in Olympics. Yes. So the introduction of the protective gears, the allowed techniques, and stricter restrictions are introduced. Seems to be gearing towards Olympics. Now if I link backwards, everything seems to make sense.
Yeah. Okay. And of course, sports karate was represented in the Olympics last year, right?
Yeah. And it was supposed to be a special one-off event.
I see. So we can only hope that sports karate will return to the Olympics in the future years. It's announced that it won't appear on the next Olympics. Yeah, hopefully beyond that, it will appear. But it doesn't have to be in the Olympics for the sport to be worth taking part in, right? So yeah, back on the point of clean techniques. I imagine until the day when electronic systems are applied in kumite bouts where there is a conductive material between the glove and the body to say that I touch means I touch because it's verified by electricity. I think until then we will keep seeing limitations on the techniques that you can use, like only straight punches because it's easy to judge and stuff like that.
I believe some contact sports already have that, right? Maybe taekwondo, like I said, fencing.
Yeah, taekwondo.
For karate itself, there is an emerging competition format. It's called Karate Combat.
Oh yeah.
So that is actually sports karate transiting into full contact.
Yeah.
So if you watch that, you will realize that the techniques in sports karate are actually quite deadly. Right? It's just that because of rules, they got to pull back at the last minute to avoid hurting each other. Now for Karate Combat, from what I understand, they have sensor installed in the gloves to detect.
Yeah. And you make a really interesting point about techniques in sports karate is actually quite deadly, or I would say lethal, right? Because there is this preconceived notion that just because the competition format is no contact or semi-contact, it means that the technique is useless in terms of combat. But in recent times, with the emergence of karate combat, for instance, with the emergence of, say, MMA even, you see quite a number of athletes with strong sports karate backgrounds actually having a lot of success, in these competition arena. So it really depends on the fighter or the athlete at the end of the day on how they make
on that point. On that point, I want to clarify something as well. Yeah. Like, for example, one of the more well-known karateka in MMA, Yuto Machida, is personally my idol, and to say that he came from sports karate, I think it's not quite accurate, because back then during his time, the competition, he was from JKA, and JKA competition are actually pretty hard.
Yeah,
it can be considered full contact at times.
Yeah.
So I think the karateka in MMA, none of them actually do the WKF format.
I watched when Karate Combat first was introduced. By the way, guys, if you are not sure what Karate Combat is, it's basically a fight promotion that I don't know whether it's US based or Europe based. So if you know, leave it in the comments. So teach me something. So it's a fight promotion which features a lot of sports karate rules, but they just tweak it to become more full contact. So you don't have to pull back. You can go like all out and knock somebody down, right? So I remember watching the first edition where they had the reigning Kumite champion Rafael Agaev. He's very popular in the WKF scene. You should see him making use of his techniques in full contact, and it works perfectly fine. Although you can see now here and there, you have to figure out the new competition rules and all that. But if you can fight, you tweak it a bit for the rules for full contact. I think it should work out well. Yeah, so that's my observation, at least. So, addressing the preconceived notion of, doesn't mean it's non-contact. You cannot have effective combative skills out of it also. And the other angle that I want to touch on also is that a lot of us, sometimes we watch sports karate with all of the rules and limitations and boundaries, and we tend to think that, this is what karate is about. And this is where I want to say that this is only one aspect of karate. So karate is diverse, there's many ways of practicing it, and sports karate is only one way to practice the skill or to express karate. Would you have anything to say about this, Hendra?
You're right, because I feel that karate itself, right, if you're looking at the place of origin, Okinawa, it is one of the very original and ancient mixed martial arts. It has grappling. Not many people know of it because sports karate is more popular. They only introduce striking. Right, so in the kata, there are grappling techniques as well, and also karateka in Okinawa practice weapon as well, known as kobudo. So karate itself is a very complete martial arts. And it's meant for self-defense, right? You should be able to protect yourself. Face of danger.
And my point about bringing up this fact is that, if you're watching karate, sports karate, for instance, don't take it at face value to decide that, this is what karate is about. Okay, beyond what you see in sports karate, there is a lot of other skills and lessons and learnings that you can benefit from. So I guess the best way to really understand what karate is about is just go to your local club or local dojo, sit in, observe. If they have a trial, go ahead and take out the trial and really experience it for yourself. See whether you like what they offer, because there tends to be more than meets the eye. There tends to be more than what you just see on YouTube, okay, which represents like a small percentage of what karate is about, right? Okay, so let's move on from the talking about kumite and kata, and we talk about how to get involved in sports karate in the clubs. Usually, as what you mentioned, there is a tendency for the traditional karate clubs to have participants who also take part in sports karate, right? How do we go about identifying which club is traditional club, which club is non-traditional club. So to a person who does not know karate, it's a little bit too many choices to think about. So do you have like a cheat sheet on how to go about identifying the clubs that
not really cheat sheet though.
Okay.
My recommendation is because karate has so many aspects. If you think you just want to get into sports karate, it might not be really what you want. So my recommendation is just find any nearby dojo, the nearest club you have. It might even be in a community club, right? Drop in and chat with the sensei and what he offers. Does your club go for competition, or do you only practice traditional karate as a form of exercise or self-defense or martial art? So many different aspects of it. So drop in, try 1 or 2 months if it's really you're looking for. If you're really looking for a competitive sport, then you can maybe ask for recommendation where you can go from the sensei. Most likely they will offer you somebody they know the contact.
Karate is, if you're not in Singapore, karate is definitely one of the most popular martial arts practice in Singapore. In the world, it is one of the most popular martial arts. In Singapore, that fact doesn't change. It has been since the 80s. It is still right now still one of the most popular martial arts in Singapore and the world. If you're looking for a karate club to join, there is a tendency that your local community club or community center or residence committee might have a karate class over there. So I think one of the easiest way to check whether your local CC has a karate class is to just go Google, like what we do with everything else. There is the website called 1PA. So PA stands for People Association. So just log on to 1PA. This live stream is not sponsored by 1PA, so I'm just sharing with you where to get your stuff. Okay, we are brought to you by no one. Okay, we are brought to you by our own time and our own effort. Okay, we have no sponsors. Right. So if you're interested to look out for karate classes in your nearest CC, just log on to 1PA, type karate, and pick out the class nearest to where you live. Besides classes in the CCs, we also see an emergence of karates in private clubs. So like MMA gyms, there's also been private centers where karate instructors have opened up their classes there also. Sometimes in country clubs you might find karate classes out there. So there is no easy way to say this. Just go to Google, look for karate, and if there is one that's near you, that's convenient for you to attend, make a visit and feel free to speak with the instructor. And just a caveat, guys, when you go to a karate class and trying to seek for clarification, don't go and try to talk to the instructor when his class is happening or when his class is about to start. Then you want to say, hey, excuse me, I got a question to ask. Okay, a good etiquette is come a little bit earlier, speak to the instructor if it's free, or just watch the class. During the break, go and approach the instructor, or towards the end of the class, go and speak to the instructor. I'm sure he will be more than happy to entertain you. And if the instructor is not available, usually there is no harm speaking to the other participants as well. So just speak, find out whatever you know lah. And of course, being a civilized human being, be respectful whenever you're in a class, be it a karate class or any other class that you are attending. Okay. So having said that, if you're from another karate club and you'd like to create awareness about your club right now, just drop it in the chat box. Let us know where you're from, where your classes are at, so that if there's anybody interested in a karate club, can come over and speak to you and find out all about what you have to offer, right? Yeah. So we have crossed the 1 hour mark when it comes to the live stream. So let's round off this live stream. Hendra, do you have anything else to add before we close?
Best way to enjoy karate is just go there and just do it. Just enroll any class.
Just do it, Nike. Oh, I forgot one more avenue for sports karate. If you're in a tertiary institution, be it a polytechnic, an ITE, or a university, there tends to be a karate club. So take a look at it. Okay, there tends to be one. And if there is one, there tend to be open sessions, there tend to be demonstration or workshops. So keep an eye on them, send them an email. They should be happy to go and welcome you. Okay, that's a great way to experience sports karate actually. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, like what Hendra mentioned, just do it, just Nike it, go and do it lah. Go for a trial. There is no harm for a trial. You don't have to commit to it. It's not like last time where in order to learn a martial arts you have to swear allegiance, you have to take a blood oath. Maybe this is what I heard, and you have to stay with the same instructor for life. Okay, so nowadays we are in a free world. You are free to go for a short trial, and then you can decide whether you want to stay there for good or not. Okay. And in closing off this live stream, we also want to create awareness of the local karate scene in Singapore. Hendra, do you know what's coming up in the sports karate scene in Singapore?
In terms of event, in 2 days, which is on Sunday, there will be a committee competition held by the Karate Union of Singapore. Right, it will be at the Pasir Ris Sports Center.
Okay.
Right. Time is 9 a.m. It ends at 6 p.m.
Okay.
So we just drop by to the Pasir Ris Sports Hall and have a look at what sports karate is all about.
Awesome.
It will be exciting. Very exciting.
Awesome. So yeah, once again, there is a sports karate competition happening in Pasir Ris Sports Center, right?
Yeah.
Organized by the Karate-Do Union of Singapore, which is the National Sports Association for Karate-Do in Singapore. So if you're free on a Sunday and if you're up and about looking for breakfast and something exciting to watch, drop on to the venue. Take a look at the electrifying sports karate events over there. Speak to people, and that's a good chance to find out what sports karate is all about.
There's a perfect chance.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, thank you once again for joining us on this messy live stream, which is full of technical glitches. And with that, we really appreciate you being here. If you have any questions about karate in general, sports karate or whatnot, just drop on in the comment box down below. So this has been the Lionheart Academy channel. We do content which is related to karate. It's all about enjoying karate in many aspects that we can find them. So whatever you want to see, just let us know. We can probably make time to create content out of that. And Hendra, final words before we close.
Karate is for everyone, so don't think that you're too young or you're too old. There is something for you. I promise that there is something for you.
Okay, and with that, we hope to see you in a dojo or on the mat. And again, this has been Lionheart Academy channel. With this, we hope you can enjoy karate more. See you. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.